What's up? What in the world is being shown on the corner there? What was that? Stream seems to be good. Let me go to my YouTube. View your channel. How's the audio sound? Go to... Yep. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pull up Discord. Live. Mild spoilers. I'm not going to spoil everything in the comic, because that would just be kind of dumb, I would say. Let me put this link in chat. Read for free. Or Webtoon. I guess I could put Webtoon in here as well. There we go. Alright. Changed up the background. We're no longer at outside the band's base of operations. Instead, we are in front of Mick T's music store, which is Mick Thompson, one of the founding members and still current members of Slipknot, of which this chapter, The Devil and I, also Slipknot reference, very heavily inspired by. It's just kind of inspired by 2000s nu metal in general. Nothing really, not stuck to one band in particular. I'll pull back onto this page because I think this page looks better. Oh yeah, let me post some streaming right now. Yep. Grums is trending again. South Carolina is trending. Should I be concerned? Oh yeah. I guess before I start talking about let me make sure the music volume is at a good level. Yeah, it's at a good level. I'll turn my speakers down so it's not as loud to me. But before I start talking about the comic and stuff about it, I'll talk about this. So there's a new cartoon. It's called Iyanu. It is based on Nigerian culture and mythology, which is not something I'm familiar with at all. But the important thing that I'm looking at here is that it is a action cartoon, an original idea, original series being adapted onto Cartoon Network in 2025. Like, this is everything I've wanted. I've wanted an action cartoon. You know, we got something, what was it, the Invincible Fight Girl. Have not watched all of it. I watched like the first episode, and I was like, it's not for me. But the animation is pretty good. The animation is pretty good. That's one of the most important things to me. So the animation looks good. And then this show is coming out April 5th, saying that the series is inspired by Avatar. You can look at it and tell it's inspired by Avatar. Dragon Prince, I haven't watched the Dragon Prince. I've heard okay things about it. It has its super fans, but it also has like people that are just saying like, I'm not a big fan of the animation. I don't like low frame rate, cell shaded animation. It's not my thing. It has to be done very well for me to like it, such as Tron Uprising, which came out in 2011, by the way, and I think it looks better than most modern attempts at cel-shaded cartoons like that. I like comparing it to stuff like the Dragon Prince, Transformers, Robots in Disguise, and what was the other one? Star Wars Resistance. All three of those shows, very similar animation style. None of them look as good as Tron Uprising, in my opinion. None of them look as good. And I think it's because Tron lends itself very well. The setting of Tron, the lighting of that series lends itself very well to the style of animation. Whereas everything else is way too bright, way too colorful. I think it's an overload on my eyes, and then it's low frame rate on top of that, which is not my favorite thing. So, you know, it's something, in my opinion, that I'm not really my favorite animation style. But regardless, this is 2D animated. This is a drawn cartoon, and it looks really good. I watched the trailer. I'm not going to play it here, but I watched the trailer, and I was like, wow, this actually looks kind of good. The concept of it is very Avatar-like. I mean, it seems like it's just straight up Avatar. The difference is that it's Nigerian instead of Asian culture, which I think is cool. I think, you know, we get different things like this from different cultures, different, you know, takes on the mythology and stuff like that with comics and cartoons and live action stuff. And this, if I'm seeing it correctly, it is based off of a live action cartoon. My camera has frozen. I'm not sure why it froze. But you know, I do like seeing like different cultural stuff being used as influence, right? Which is one of the reasons why I was interested in the idea of something the Rippaverse was doing. It was called like Norfolka, which they teased in Ice on 1 and have yet to do anything with it. They have a comic coming out finally this year, but, you know, it's just taking them a while to get to it, which is, you know, fine. Take your time. Quality takes time, I guess. Well, I don't guess, I know. So I don't necessarily mind if it takes a while to get there. It's just for me, I'm like, selfishly, I want it to be immediate. But I want to talk a little bit about DeviantArt. DeviantArt, I recently got a Pro. I upgraded the Pro membership. I canceled 2 other subscriptions that I had. I canceled my Pocket subscription because Pokemon Pocket. Just because, like, I just don't really play it enough to warrant the subscription. Nintendo, I canceled my Nintendo subscription. And I meant to cancel it a long time ago. I only got it so I could play with this girl I was talking to at the time, and then we met in person on a date, played Mario Kart, and then like online, just like, you know, do our switches on like a phone call, and then after that, like, she just completely ghosted me, and I have no idea. I genuinely don't know what it could have been, but that was like a year ago at this point. But that's how long I've had the Nintendo subscription without noticing. That's kind of shameful. I've lost over $100 to Nintendo because of that. But then again, like, I haven't really been buying too much games, so I've just been playing the same existing games or getting them on sale for like extremely cheap. But anyways, I want to talk about Little Miss Steel. I want to talk about Chapter 3, Volume 3. Let's change up the music. We'll go with Sunset Coliseum, aka the goated best song in any video game ever. Let's see. Let me get this right. I'm trying to set up my stuff to where, like, I can see the chat at all times, just in case someone starts talking. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about this, but I'm also going to showcase some art, but I'm not going to show the art on the stream. I'm going to open up some of it and do like a very pixelated version of the art. Like what I'm doing right now is I'm pulling up all the art. And I figured I wouldn't do this before the stream started because I don't want to, I want to wait until I want to give people a chance to read it and then join the stream. As you can see by like the numbers on Global Comics, it's actually doing pretty decent. I'm not going to say it's doing anything crazy as far as like viewership goes, but the first chapter has 1.4 thousand, which is, let me check Demonico. Let me just check Demonico real quick. Yeah. Demonico in total has 2,381 viewership in total in all of its chapters. And it's got 37 other things. Right? 37 chapters and it's got 2,300, almost, you might as well just round it up to 2.4, right? This has well over 2,000 views. Not just on Global Comics, it's got, what is that? That's 2,300 views right there, just with those two alone. Let's go back to Little Miss Steel, 400. This stuff has almost 3,000 views with just 2 installments, which is crazy compared to what Demonico was doing. Now, Demonico, like, I'm still very proud of the story. I'm still very proud of the story. But, at the same time, I feel like there's some potential pushback with just the premise of it, because it does sound like it's extremely edgy. And to be fair, there is some edginess to be found. For sure. For sure, there is some edginess to be found. But I think the problem with it is that some people will see that and be like, I'm not gonna read this. This is too edgy. The point of it was for me, I wanted it to look edgy so it would draw in like the teen who feels like his parents or her parents are you know, stupid or they hate them or whatever. The teens who are edgy right now, who are angsty, I wanna draw them in and give them a story full of hope. Was the whole point of doing it like that. And it was very intentionally made to look edgy. I'm trying to gather up some images, some pages from the comic. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna blur them out. I'm gonna pixelate them so you can't see them. And for those of you who are in the Discord, which let me pull up Discord and let me get an invite link. Invite people. Copy. Hidden. Use copy button. Oh, okay. I see. I see how it is. Makes sense. Discord. Hidden. Use copy buddy. Oh, really? Copy buddy? Copy button. What's up, Catman? What's up, Catman? Invite people. Copy. Was it actually copied this time? Bro. I told you to copy the link. Discord, let me do it, please. Hidden, use copy button. I've used the copy button. Oh my god. Oh my god. Catman, can you do me a favor and put an invite link to the Discord in the chat, please? I'm on break, so I decided to stop by. If you could do this, I would greatly appreciate it. Because right now, because I'm streaming, streamer mode is on. And it will not let me copy it. It says hidden, use copy button. And I press it, and it doesn't do anything. It just copies that message. that I deleted. It's so stupid. You know what? Let me pull up the link tree. Yeah. I think this is it, right? Yeah. Okay. Can I like, yeah, copy link. There we go. Okay. Now stop me. Okay, well, you know what? It takes you to this, which is pretty close enough. Okay, that will work. My webcam stopped working. What the heck? Why does it keep breaking? Why does it keep doing this? It's never done this before. It's never done this before. I don't know why it keeps pausing. If it keeps doing it, then I'll just go to the JPEG version of me. I'll just go to that, which I need to update this. I need to update this. My hair's a little different. My beard's a little different. I'm trying to like kind of grow it out into like to a point. And it's kind of like that. You can see it's kind of got a point to it. Dashing, if I do say so myself. Sorry about getting on a mobile device right now. Nah, that's fine. I got it. Technology is stupid. Yes. For some reason, my webcam's not working. The Discord link doesn't work. But I can get it through Linktree. That will work fine. But anyway, I want to talk about some of the pages. So I've got them pulled up here. And what I'm going to do is distort, pixelate. Okay, 85 seems to be pretty good. I'm not going to do it for every artwork. I'm not going to do it for every one of them, but I am going to like pull up. Like some of them will be revealed, some of them won't be, you know, hyperpixelated or anything. This one's definitely getting pixelated. All the ones like at the end, near the end of the comic, like the second half, I would say, all of them get pixelated. So, what I'm going to do is, with Discord, for you, those of you who are in the Discord, there's going to be a spoilers channel in the Discord, and I'm going to put those images in the Discord. So, I'm putting my image software up. This is now going to be up, and the spoilers, what images are pixelated, are the ones that are going to be shared in the Discord. So if you can't see them, okay, my camera just broke again. I'm putting up the freaking JPEG. Whatever. Okay, fine. I don't know why it's doing this. I've had this webcam for like 8 years, so I guess there shouldn't be a surprise. I do have a backup webcam though, so I'll probably take that one out and plug that in instead of this one. But anyway, I'm gonna go through the comic and just kind of go through this. Her heroine name is gonna be Steela. Her heroine name is Little Miss Steel. That's her name. Oh, you know, in the future I'm gonna create a metal heroine of my own. Oh, I see. Okay, I see. You're talking about yours. Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, feel free to. I mean, try and be creative. Try and be, you know, a little original. But Steela, I mean, it's a fine name. Fine name. I can't think of any comic characters from Marvel or DC named Steela that have metal skin. But I mean, like, the idea I think works. There's several ways you can do it. There's the route of, like, this character is always steel, like Miss Steel is. Her skin is always metal. There's the Colossus or Kevin Levin type of steel skin character that can, like, you know, they can make their skin steel, or in Kevin's case, anything he touches, any solid thing he touches. And Like you can do that, or you can do it like how I've done, and make it to where, like, because Little Miss Steel is only half her mother's DNA, she can only steal up half of her body at a time. So in that way, it's sort of, and I was thinking about this. I had this thought the other day. That it could have been an interesting idea, and it's too late for me to even explore it now, but it could have been an interesting idea that V always has to have half of her body steeled up. So, like, to conceal her identity, like, she has to wear, like, long sleeves, so that she can hide the amount of steel. But that's obviously, like, that's not what I'm doing. That's not what I've established with her. So it's too late to do that. But I did think that was a cool idea. That could have been, that's something that, you know, if maybe I hadn't already done the story so much, and established that she can control it freely, that's something I could have done for add a little more tension to the character. But unfortunately, it just it's too late for that. And even then, I still don't think it's bad. I don't think I'm missing out on anything necessarily by doing that. I just think that that's something that you could do with your character. Like, you could have your character be like where she has to have, if your character is like a limited amount of steel skin at a time, like Little Miss Steel is, that's a way you can differentiate it. That's a way you can make it different. And there's all sorts of ways to do it. And that's the fun part about creativity is and how I look at it is that there is, you know, there's nothing entirely original made anymore, right? Everything is based off of something else. Most often it's based off of multiple things, whether you know it or not, because you can make a series based off of Avatar, like the new cartoon, what is it called? Ianu? Yeah, Ianu, says based off of Avatar and The Dragon Prince. And yeah, those two are probably the main inspirations for the show, but that show is also inspired by everything that inspired Avatar and The Dragon Prince. It's like, it just keeps going back and back and back and back. And that's the fun thing, is whenever you realize that, whenever you understand that, hey, everything is based off of something else, you are now free to make whatever you want. You are now free to make anything you want, as long as it is not blatantly stealing from other ideas and stuff like that. Transformative works of fiction based off of other works of fiction, or works of unfiction, like reality, is so fun to play with. It's so fun to take inspiration and make your own stuff. I've been going on walks through the woods, and just when I'm walking through, thinking of ideas for stories for the Little Miss Steel universe, and I have so many cool ideas that I wanna share, but I can't, because it's literally years down the line that these stories that I'm thinking of and that I'm writing down, it's years down the line. Anyways, I gotta get going. Thank you for stopping by, Catman. I appreciate that. Always appreciate your input and interaction in the community. Thank you. But yeah, so I guess I'll go ahead and get started with talking about issue number 3, or volume number 3. I keep calling it issue, but I'm going to call it volumes from now on, because that's what everyone in comics calls it. Volume 3 is based off of chapter 4 in the novelization. I've mentioned before that chapters 2 and 3... Oh, stay tuned April 1st for the Val and Nia drawing. Yes, I will look forward to that. I knew there was a drawing that you had coming up, but I couldn't remember who it was. Thank you for reminding me. I look forward to that. Anyway, I mentioned before that chapters 2 and 3 of the novel were combined into volume 2 of the comic. And the reason for that was, 1, pacing, and keeping it interesting. Because I don't think episode 2, or chapter 2 from the novel, would make a very interesting comic standalone issue. I think I made the right decision by trimming that down, the aspects of chapter 2, and instilling them in volume 2 of the comic. I think I made the right decision with that. And moving on to volume 3, which is chapter 4 in the novel, I think I made the right decision with this as well. I kind of took things from the novelization, which that episode was filler. That chapter of the novel was filler. And I've always whenever it came time to adapt that into the comic, I was very tempted to just skip it. Very tempted to just skip it and move some things around. Maybe make a new episode or something like that. Maybe a new plot line to work for Volume 3. But then I had a test reader who was reading through the novelization of a Discord I'm in, Savage Books Discord, which if you don't know who Savage Books is he's a YouTuber who does really good breakdowns of shows and movies. The character writing, the story writing, he does a good job with all of that. And I pay for access to his Discord because I find it valuable. I find the stuff I learned from there, the discussion I have with other writers, very valuable. And what I'm trying, and speaking of, I need to get back in there to talk about this release, to try and get input for that. But what I gathered from one of the test readers in there that I had helping me out was that this episode is filler because the characters don't grow. Or at least this is how it was in the novelization. The characters don't learn anything. The characters don't grow from any sort of point A to point B. They're the same as they started as. And I started thinking about that because technically speaking, this episode in the comic version, you could still look at it as filler when it comes to the plot. When it comes to the overarching plot throughout the entire series, the 10-volume series, you could look at it as filler. However, you can also look at it as vital for the character development of Amy and a little more character development for V, for Little Miss Steele. The things that happen in this comic, which I won't divulge totally in, the things that happen in this volume are very important for the growth of these two characters. And I wanted to do this because if I only focus on the plot, then it would only really be about V and Night Vision and Death Metal. That's the only characters that would matter. But if I do side quests, which is what I'm going to call this type of thing, is a side quest. If I do side quests with the other characters getting a chance to have their emotional growth, then it allows me to do more fun stories every now and then instead of only focusing on stories that advance the main plot. And I think that's a lot more fun to do. From a writing standpoint, it's fun for me, but it's also I think it's fun for the audience because they get a chance to breathe, right? Last episode was very intense as far as like the emotions of it. There was a lot of intense moments with V and her father, some intense moments fighting Stonehold that nearly led to her death multiple times, and trying to establish like the lore of like how she's even able to get everywhere she needs to go as a superhero, right? Not only do they have the van, but they have the teletunnel system. So there was a lot of stuff that was established there, and then some backstory as well for the Mighty Five and Miss Steele. So with this one, I wanted to almost kind of step back a little bit and let people sort of just enjoy the main cast of characters, the band, and have a little fun adventure for them that grows the characters in meaningful ways, and not only just grows the characters, but also just shows them interacting. Because making you care about characters, to do that, I have to show you why you would care about these characters. I have to show them being people, being friends, being bandmates, and them being in a band is not just something that's on the side. It is a vital part of who they are. So I have to have episodes where they are just being a band. Of course, that would be boring if it was just that, so there has to be some sort of excitement added to it. And this excitement comes in the admittedly outdated trope of rock and roll being the devil's music. This has always been a concept that I've liked something that I've always enjoyed, kind of satirizing. I like it whenever they do it in other comics and cartoons and movies. There's plenty of movies that have done something like this. And one of my favorite examples of the portrayal of the devil, I guess, in media is the Twilight Zone. There's an episode where this guy dies, wakes up, and all of a sudden he can do everything. He'll never die. He'll win at everything. Every time he plays like a game, he just instantly wins. All of it is just effortless. He does not even have to try. He is just the luckiest man in the world. And after like 2 days of winning at everything, he's like, man, I'm sick of this. None of this feels earned to me. None of this feels important because it's just all just for free. And the guy's like, sorry, you can't leave here. And he's like, well, okay, if I'm in heaven, then I want to go to the bad place. I want to see what it looks like. And that was how he phrased it, because I don't think you could say hell back then on TV. And then the devil business suit man says, this is the bad place. And then he starts laughing. And then that's like the end of the episode, is the guy realizes, like in an ironic twist, him getting everything he wants just so effortlessly, making it to where it has no meaning to him, is his own like personal version of hell. And I've always liked that portrayal of like the devil and demons being like con men in business suits. So of course, you know, I had to bring in the con man in a business suit, Saul, which is a character from Demonico. Now I showed you earlier, on Webtoon, there was my previous work, Demonico, which was a hybrid novel. It's mostly a reading experience, but it's got some pictures to it. And like every 3 to 5 paragraphs, there's a picture to go with it. There's like a drawing to go with it. So it's sort of a comic experience, but it's mainly a reading experience. The pictures are just kind of there to sort of chain together your imagination of what the characters look like, what the surroundings look like, and everything. That's kind of the idea of it. And and while I think it works for like a story, I think the story is good. I still feel very proud of the story I was able to tell. I do see the flaws of it in retrospect. I see the flaws in just the formatting of telling a story like this. It's not going to appeal to a lot of people. It's going to appeal to some people. Obviously, it has, but it's not going to. It's not going to be a largely successful medium to tell stories in, and I understand that. But the concept of it, Saul as a character, is if I could just kind of just pull up an episode. I'll pull up the first one and just show you how much my art has progressed. Yeah, this was pretty rough. This was pretty rough here. I think the hand is mostly fine, but you can just tell this stuff, this stuff is definitely aged. It's definitely aged. But just to show you Saul, I'm still really proud of this artwork. I think this artwork still looks pretty good. There's some things I would do differently now, but I still think it looks pretty good. But yeah, Saul, exactly what I was saying. Demon in a business suit. Very hateable guy, but very likable guy. And it's, it's something that it's a story that I think like I said, I'm very proud of it, but I think there could be some things done better. But essentially, Saul's like main thing is that like he's overly obsessed with his appearance, to the point where it like tips him over the edge, where he almost always ends up beating himself rather than the opponent beating him, just out of blind rage. But that's kind of the idea of it. And Saul, I wanted to use Saul here because, one, I didn't want to just write another character that just was Saul. I wanted to throw him in here. Just to clarify, this is not a multiversal story. These are just 2 separate books. They're not connected. they're not connected by a multiverse. They're just two separate stories. One takes place in like 2020 in that time frame. The other one takes place in 2002. Don't try and overthink it. Bean, what are you barking at? What are you barking at, Butterbean? But don't overthink it. It's not a multiverse story. I hate multiverses. I think it ruins a lot of the tension. Hush! No barking. I think it ruins a lot of the tension. So I'm not trying to do that, just to clarify. But yeah, so this first artwork, this is the first page of it. Shows off their the band playing music and, you know, having fun with that. And then another page of the stage. I wanted to kind of set up some establishing shots of the stage to kind of show you, like, one, because I'm going to use this angle multiple times. Fine, you want to go outside? Go out the door. Go out the door. Go bark somewhere else. I don't know what she's barking at. She's going crazy. But yeah, the stage, you know, I wanted to make it feel like almost like a sort of school play type of stage where, like, it's nothing super fancy because it's not supposed to be. They're just starting out their band career, so they're not going to get anything fancy, but they are going to get something that looks pretty decent. This is a pretty decent start, right? But yeah, so this is sort of where it begins with the storyline. And again, I'm not going to go into the spoilers of the story, but I will vaguely kind of follow along with it with the art here. This next page is one of my favorites out of this, simply because of how much I feel like I nailed the freakiness of the mask. The point of Smile's mask is to, like, his name is Smile, and that is a hideous looking smile. Like, that is not a dude you want to see in an alleyway at night. Like, if you see that, you are probably dead. And it's, I think I nailed the look of it conceptually from, like, the first time I drew him, which that artwork has kind of been lost because I lost a flash drive with the source file on it, unfortunately. But from that first artwork to now, I feel like I've really gotten a good grasp on how I really wanted him to look. How making him look freaky without making it overly detailed and too much to draw multiple times. I think I kind of nailed the middle ground between, you know, my simple cartoony art style and the grotesqueness of the mask, of one of the masks that Corey Taylor wears, the lead singer of Slipknot. It is pretty similar to that. Not exactly the same, but it is fairly similar. Gave him a green, like a pale green wig to go with it. Because I think that kind of, like, adds on to it. It makes him look a little more distinct from Corey Taylor as well. Because again, this guy is not Corey Taylor. He's inspired by Corey Taylor. So it's a legal thing. But anyway, really proud of this page. Also, the shadow on the wall shows Saul's horns here. When you see him in his human appearance, he does not have horns, but his shadow does, which is something I wanted to do to immediately clue in the reader that, hey, something's weird about this guy. But anyways, next page is blurred. I don't want to show it off too much, so what I'm going to do is now, I'm in the Discord. I'm going to be posting this page in spoilers. In the spoilers chat. For those of you who want to see it. Let me open up the folder. Sorry. Yeah. Stream page 1. So this artwork, I really love how this one turned out. Originally, her hand was holding the clipboard, and I showed it to my brother, and he was like, that looks kind of weird. Like, her arm looks like it's way forward. And the original intention was for me to be like, yeah, she's like holding the clipboard much closer to the quote unquote camera. and it kind of is supposed to look a little weird like that, right? And he said, yeah, but maybe it could be like Saul's hand holding it. And so I listened to that. I took that criticism and I drew Saul holding it, and I was like, yeah, that's way better. And it just looks so much better. But there's little details like, the hands, very creepy. I wanted to get like a creepy vibe to it, and I feel like I definitely did that with this. For stream viewers, if you want to see this full artwork, click the link in the chat. That'll take you directly to the comic book. It'll take you directly to the Global Comics there's something weird with the chat. I'm trying to paste it, but it's being very difficult. There you go. There's a link. You can click and read that right now and view this artwork yourself. And feel free to mute the stream while you're reading it. Don't leave the stream because that would lose viewership. Just mute the stream. And then once you're done reading it, you can unmute me. But yeah, and for those in the Discord, you can check out this artwork on there as well. I'm not going to put everything in the Discord because some pages are too good for me to just post on Discord for you to download for free. I'm sorry. Some of them are too good in my opinion. I'm too proud of some of them. But this one, yeah, I mean, like, I'm fine with this one. So, but yeah, I'm really happy with how this one turned out, and I think it's one of the better pages of the comic. It's one of the few full page artworks in this one that I think it's just very good. Now this next one, you've seen this bridge artwork before. It's the gang where their hideout is underneath the bridge in a secret entrance. Cutie, the dog. I wanted to keep adding her to the comic to kind of remind you that she's there. Like, obviously, this dog has no plot relevance. Obviously, this dog is not doing anything like super crazy or whatever, but she is a source of comedic relief. And again, this dog is based off of the dog I had growing up, which was a little chunky Boston Terrier Chihuahua. Fun fact, it's called a Chibo. People call it a Chibo. But yeah, so I wanted to add this little reference in here. Also, it's just funny watching a fat dog try and climb up something. It's just kind of funny, all right? Next artwork, we've got this full page screen of the city of Phoenix at night. I wanted to go with a blue color because most of the comic is red. This time around, most of it is very red. So I wanted to go with blue to contrast what is coming up next. And what comes towards the end. Everything is very, very, very red. But this is Mick T's. I mentioned at the start of the stream, Mick Thompson is one of the founding members of Slipknot. A little reference here. So Mick T's Music Store. You got the poster on the left, guitar lessons, drumming lessons, bass lessons. Buy one album, get one album free for the middle. And then the other one is Hottest Rock Albums of 2002 to remind people of the year. And just little details like adding some bottles, just some trash lying around the van parked over there. And all the skyscrapers and stuff. I did multiple different, looks of skyscrapers. I wanted to try and do like a mix of style of buildings and whatnot. Because this is in like the capital of Arizona, so there's going to be quite a few tall buildings. Not a ton of them like New York would be, but I did go to Phoenix and see some of the spectacular buildings and sights to see over there. I went there for a week, and pretty good area, pretty cool area. Not cool as in temperature, because it's hot, very hot, but no humidity. very little humidity compared to the other side of the country. Let me tell you, we got humidity. We got a lot of humidity. But anyways, the dog, she's back. Butterbean is back. She's back. What's up, Bean? Anyway. But yeah, I'm really proud of this one. I think it looks pretty good. Plus, immediately you can see like the figure of Smile in here. So for the reader, you're like, you know what's coming. You know something's about to go down. This next one, you've seen this artwork before. I actually shared this a while back. This is the teaser page at the end of the physical copy of Volume 2 of the comic. It is it's like a next time on Little Miss Steel, kind of a teaser for what's to come. Back then, Smile had white eyes, and I was like, why does he have white eyes? Shouldn't it be yellow? I questioned my own logic on that one, and I reversed it. I said, you know what? Here you go. Now he's got yellow eyes. There was also another picture of him in the corner, looking to the side. I took that out because it was a little redundant. I ended up using that artwork elsewhere in this fight scene here. But I'm really happy with the fire effects. It's simple, but I think it works. It's a simple art style for the comic. I think it works. Just having this kind of cool, almost circular looking effect here, and just kind of giving it lots of glow, giving it lots of like ambient light and everything. Changing the lighting around the characters, such as Little Miss Steel having this orange on the side of her, and just doing that for most of the scene. If you've read the comic, you know the scene is very orange. It is very on fire. But I think it's a good one. I think it's just a very good looking fight scene. I'm very proud of how it looks. But it's also it's also just something that I can do fairly quickly, fairly simply, is using this. And going forward, I mean, the fire effects are this is gonna be, anytime there's a fire, that's probably my webcam. I'll just go ahead and just unplug it. But the going forward, the fire, anytime there's gonna be fire in the comic, it's probably gonna look similar to this. Whenever I make things, I call them assets. Whenever I make assets for the comic, any kind of floor pattern or texture or something, if you look for it, you will see the splotch effect, you'll see the smear effect, you'll see it all over the place. And it's because I make things to be duplicated and tweaked slightly in different situations to be as efficient as possible with making this comic series. And, you know, there are some artworks that are reused. There are some character poses that are reused, but the faces are changed, or the direction the character is facing is changed. The lighting is changed. There's stuff like that has allowed me to work as fast as I can, despite having a full-time job and responsibilities outside of that. And it's allowed me to do this as fast as I can in a 3 to 4 month window. Is comfortable for me to release a comic. So, moving on to the next page. Oh yeah, the guitar. I basically drew this guitar once. I'm not even joking. I drew this guitar once, and every single frame you see this guitar, it is that artwork, but it is tweaked ever so slightly to make it front-facing, back-facing, angled the opposite direction, and every time I did that, because guitars are kind of hard to draw consistently. I'll say they're hard to draw consistently, and I just told myself, I'm like, why would I draw this more than once? Let me just, like, every time this guitar appears, it's gonna be from a certain angle, and it works. I don't have to get super fancy with it. I don't have to make it you know, super elaborate from 5 different angles. I just gotta direct my shots, is what I'm gonna call it. I'm calling them shots like it's a movie, but I gotta direct my shots to be as efficient as possible with what I'm doing. And I feel like I accomplished that. And I feel like by drawing this guitar with the amount of detail it had, because it does have quite a bit of detail to the design, and like the shine to it, the strings, everything. All of it is done with the intent of making it look cool. and even though you see it multiple times in nearly the same way, it is done in a manner that I think makes it doesn't lose its charm. Next page, blurred out. This is going to be another one for the Discord, so if you're not in Discord, click that Linktree link and join. I'm just going to go ahead and add the next 3 pages. Stream pages 2 through 4. I decided to talk about these 3 because I feel like they go well together. This is one of the, I think, the funniest moments of the comic. This episode is more comedic than the previous. It does have some intense action to it, just like the previous 2, but it's more comedic because it's more about the characters interacting. It's more about the fun aspect of it, and this sequence of pages, I think, is just really good. First of all, you got the chibis that I drew for this comic that I think look pretty funny. Then you've got the physical exaggerations of it, the teeth clenching, the being so mad you're on fire trope that I started with V in the previous comic, being returned for this. And then the next page, she's on fire in the previous page because she's so mad, and now she's like completely grayed out, darkened up, like she's been scorched, she's been burnt to a crisp. And below that image of her face, that panel of her face, is LeJohn looking away from the smoke that's coming in from off screen. And I just think that to me is one of, and this and the next page, which again, I'm not showing any of these because I want you to experience them. This page, I think, and the previous 2, are the closest I've ever gotten to Teen Titans level of visual humor, of just visual gags. What they're saying is not funny. What they are, the topic of discussion, the plot that's going on right now, the conversation is not funny. But how I'm drawing them having the conversation elevates it to the point where I think it's similar to how Teen Titans does it. My favorite example of Teen Titans style visual humor is when Cyborg is mad and he's playing a video game, and each of the team is trying to talk to him and trying to get him to laugh, trying to change his mood. And when Raven does it, she doesn't even get to say anything. Cyborg just says, "I don't want to talk," and then it cuts to a scene of him firing a cannon at Raven, who is now flying a World War II style airplane, getting shot down from that, and then cutting to the next scene where she is a chibi falling down, all grayed out like she's been burnt to a crisp on a parachute behind the rest of the Titans, who are normal in size. They're drawn normally, but she is a chibi, a smoked up chibi floating down on a parachute. He literally shot down the conversation, which I think is just, that's my go-to example of why Teen Titans is just not only one of the best written cartoons, but one of the funniest cartoons ever made. Because of moments like that. And it's things that, as a kid you laugh at it because it's funny. As an adult, if you watch it like me, it's like, wow, this is so creative. Whoever thought about this is such a comedic genius. It's the animation of it, the writing of it is just like, it's so good. It's so good. And that episode, by the way, is it's the one with Atlas, but I can't remember what it's called. What's it called? Only Human. It's Only Human. That's it. Fantastic episode. It's got Keith David in it. Love Keith David. But yeah, this page is just, I think this page really just, the past 3, I think, really just nail the type of humor I'm trying to tell with this comic series. So, next page, some fight. Now this one I will not show in Discord. This is going to be one of those that gets posted to DeviantArt as its own thing. Saul is very heavily influenced by the Twilight Zone's depiction of the devil. He himself is not Satan. He is simply one of the higher ranking demons. But he's also, personality-wise, and even somewhat visually, very influenced by Knockout from Transformers Prime. Very smug, very self-important, very focused, like too much on his appearance. That is basically Saul. And I feel like Saul's personality has never been more on display visually than this comic. Yes, Demonico, as its whole story, as the web hybrid novel that it was, tells Saul's story as, like, you know, his personality through descriptions, through dialogue. But as far as visually, as far as actually drawing the character, interacting with others, and fighting, I feel like this is the best I've ever been able to do that with him. And obviously it's a shame I don't feel that way about Demonico, but it's just because of the storytelling form it is. For the reason why it's like it, you know, I don't think it quite hits the same. But the way I've been able to draw him, the way I've been able to draw him fighting and just being smug every single page, is, I feel like it's the most true to his character. So anyone who like read Demonico, I think you will really enjoy this. I think you will enjoy this chapter. If you read no other volumes of Little Miss Steel, you will enjoy this one. I think you will enjoy this one. But I think if you read this, you'll probably want to go back and read the other two, because I feel like the character writing between everyone is really fun. Now the next one, the next page here, it's an action scene, but it's funny. What you need to keep in mind for the future is that anytime Chester is on screen, it is likely going to be funny. It's likely going to be a comedic moment, and even in a fight scene, even in a moment where like it's a little more intense. Teen Titans was never afraid to do funny things during combat. Danny Phantom was never afraid to do funny things during fights. Samurai Jack as well. The Clone Wars. During these perilous action scenes, there was moments of brevity, moments of just, you know, just being able to laugh at the situation. And I feel like this is one of those. I feel like this is one of those situations where I'm trying to do something similar with that, trying to just make it. Just Chester is the comedic relief character. He has some you know, some aspects that make him more than just that. Like this episode, he does more than just be funny. He kind of helps put together he kind of solves the plot with V and LeJohn. All three of them kind of play an equal role in figuring out what's going on and trying to stop it. And of course, Amy goes through a lot of growth in this episode, this volume. I need to keep saying volume, for sure. So this is one that I think I can post this one in the Discord, because it's not really a spoiler. It's not really anything too crazy. Stream page 5. Oh, I forgot to make these spoilers. Well, it is a spoiler channel, so if you enter here not wanting to get spoiled, you've kind of done it to yourself. I might not be able to help you, friend. But anyways, let's see. But yeah, so that's really all I had to say about this page. It's just it's another funny Chester moment in a volume that has a lot of funny Chester moments. And there's another one. There's a previous page where I think it's just as good as this, but I won't share all of it. Next one, easily my favorite page in the comic, tied with the next one. Page 47 and 46 and 47 are easily some of the best artworks I've ever drawn, in my opinion. I think it's some of the best art I've ever done. Ever done. And I'm so excited for you guys to see it. It's been so hard to hold on to this. And by the way, this page is the website secret that evidently no one solved, because no one DM'd me, no one, posted in the Discord or on DeviantArt, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. No one said anything to me about how cool the secret was. So I'm assuming that no one figured it out. Which is fine. It's fine. Some people don't want to put in the effort. That's okay. I thought I made it fairly fair, I guess, to figure it out. I think it was fair, but it is what it is. But this is I can't really talk about it without spoiling too much, but I feel like how this one was put together, the framing of the panels and everything just progresses so intensely about this page. I just love how it turned out. Absolutely loved how it turned out. All the little details too about certain aspects of the character changing. I think it's just so good. I'm not to pat myself on the back too hard, but again, I think this is one of my greatest artworks ever. And then the next page is the same exact thing. These two will definitely be going up on DeviantArt as a post, and I will probably boost it as well. I upgraded to Pro so I could boost my post and get more traction on them. One, to grow the community. Two, to advertise the comic as much as possible. And as I mentioned, I canceled 2 other subscriptions I had going on to make more than enough to make up for the extra $5 I'll be paying. But it's honestly like it's not at all much really money to ask for to do that. I think DeviantArt is fairly good when it comes to making a good deal for subscriptions. Whenever I looked at the ability, like, hey, you can schedule post. Okay, yeah, I think that's fair for me to pay $5 a month for. Actually, I don't even think it was 5. I think it was like 3. And to increase $5 for the ability to get more traction on your post. Yes, is it pay to win? Yes, it is. But ultimately, you have to pay for advertising. And that's how I look at it, is I'm paying for advertising, boosting my post. And it's not in the form of an advertisement, right? It's not artwork as like an ad that you can skip in 5 seconds, or something that appears on the side of your screen that annoys you whenever you're trying to scroll on Facebook or something. It is an organic post appearing on your homepage. And if you like art that looks similar or art with similar tags, you will find my post more likely. And I think that's fair. I think, DeviantArt, as much as I criticize it for its embracing of AI, I do think as a business, I think it's probably one of the more fair options when it comes to social media advertising. And it's where I get the most business. It's where I get sales as far as like premium downloads for artwork. It's where I get my character designs sold, my adoptable characters, which I've got like 5 currently for sale, so get on that. But yeah, I feel like this is definitely gonna be one of those. These 2 pages combined is going to be a boosted post for sure. So next page, I love the facial expression I've drawn on this character. I kind of took inspiration from Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender when she has her mental breakdown. My biggest inspiration for this page and a previous scene with the same kind of posing. But I love the flow of this fight scene as well. I think I really did a good job doing the flow of this fight. It's 3 fights going on at the same time, and 2 of them are narratively important. One of them is not as important, so it doesn't get a whole lot of focus. But that fight is important to help one of the others. And the moment where it does become important, the moment where it is vital to the story, is the moment that I highlight. So I'm not bloating the comic with excess fights. I'm not repeating kind of just some generic punching and kicking and stuff like that. Like all the moments of the fight are unique in a way that allows all 3 of them to work together. And they're all 3 connected because this person is doing this It's allowing another person to do this, and another person doing this helps the other person finish things, and it's like, it feels good. It feels like it flows well, and none of them are forgotten. There's like, even if it's a zoomed out wide shot of just silhouettes of figures fighting from a distance, it's still reminding you that all three fights are going on simultaneously. And I'm proud of it. I'm proud of how it worked out. Could it have been done better? Sure. There's always going to be ways to improve. And I'm sure some people will have some critiques. And I'll listen to criticism as long as it's fair. As long as it's not just, this looks so bad, bro, and then you say nothing else. I'm like, okay, your opinion. give me like actual good criticism that I could learn from, and then maybe I'll value you. Maybe you will have some level of significance to me. But if you're just gonna just complain, then I'm like, nah, you really just don't matter. Another blurred one. This one is also not going to be posted. This one might not be posted at all. This one is such a spoiler that I might not even post it at all on DeviantArt or anywhere. Maybe like a month down the line, after people have had a chance to read it in its entirety, like long after, maybe I could share this one. But again, I'm proud of this one. The angle of the top panel, I think, is a really good shot. And then the triple panels, all showing their reaction to what happened above. I think it all just works pretty well from a page layout type of thing. And I really want to do more experiments with page layout, but I'm just sort of hesitant because I'm printing this out. I'm not just posting it on Webtoon. I'm printing this out. And selling copies. I've been selling a pretty good amount of copies. Not an insane amount, but a pretty decent amount. I've made my money back that I spent on printing it and getting it shipped to me. I've made my money back. Now I just gotta start making a profit, and hopefully the next show that I'm gonna be at, where I'm selling these things, by then hopefully I'll have the third volume. Hopefully it will arrive in time. Knock on wood. And I can sell even more copies. So that's the goal. That's the idea of it. And the last page, yeah, I'm definitely not sharing this anywhere. This one is just like, I feel like this one turned out so good. It doesn't hit as hard as one of the final pages of Demonico that I will not spoil. It doesn't hit as hard, narratively speaking, but it just looks better. It just looks cooler. I think I did a lot of things with this comic with Saul that I wanted to do in Demonico, but just didn't have the time, the creative drive, or the ability, because I've improved so much from the Demonico days. I can do a lot more than I could back then, and I've really put that to show in what I've been able to do in this volume of the comic. But with all that being said, that's basically all the pages that I've gone through. That's all the stuff that I really wanted to show. I hope you guys enjoy this comic. I hope you give it a like, give it, comment on it, get some engagement, and I really hope you are looking forward to the there was a whole nother running joke that I didn't even mention on any of these. I'm not going to talk about it because I want you to find it for yourself, but there's a running joke through it that I think works, and there's multiple running jokes now that I think about it that I haven't talked about in this stream. Just tons of stuff that I think you will enjoy in this comic that I'm not going to spoil, and look forward to Volume 4. If I had to give a ballpark estimate of when Volume 4 is coming, I would like to say either late June at the earliest or late July at the latest. For sure it would be in July. So I'm trying to do a 3 to 4 month window, trying to do that because that way I can put out 3 comics per year at a minimum. And and maybe by the time, you know, the more characters, the more times I draw these characters, the more artworks I get to reuse and tweak instead of drawing something brand new every single page. The more I draw, the more assets I accumulate, right? And that allows me to move even faster as things go. So hopefully, you know, if I can do the next comic in 3 months instead of 4 months, barring any kind of family emergency like I had this time around, if I could speed it up to 3 months, maybe by the time I get done with volume 5, maybe I can pump these out in 2 months. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not going to promise anything because I know from looking at several indie comic creators in the scene, they overpromise, and it always bites them in the butt because people have the fair criticism of, why isn't this comic out yet? You said it was going to be done in February, and here we are in July. Or in other creators' cases, multiple years late. And look, I could have used the passing of my stepfather as an excuse. I could have used it as a reason why this comic couldn't come out in March. But I did the old boomer saying and strapped on my bootstraps, pulled up my bootstraps, and got to work. And I did it. You know, I used the vast majority of my free time these last few weeks on the comic. And all the time I lost in February, in late January and early February, all the time I lost from the passing of my stepdad, I made it up in March. I just grinded it out this whole month almost. And I think I could have used it as an excuse to delay it to April, and I think people would understand it. I think you guys would probably understand it. Some people would be like, "No excuses, bro," and that's probably because I've been so adamant about artists not having an excuse, or writers not having an excuse, right? Or if you do, be transparent. And that's what I was doing. I was being transparent. I've talked about it on Twitter. I talked about it on Discord and stuff. DeviantArt, I mentioned it as well. And I thought about it, and I really thought about it beginning of this month. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish it by the time March ends. And I was really, you know, struggling with the decision to announce its, you know, delayment. But ultimately, I was like, no. And I actually even recorded a video. I actually even recorded a video saying that I was going to delay it to April. But that video never got uploaded, and in fact, it got deleted because I was like, no, I'm going to honor my word. I'm going to do what I told you I was going to do. And I'm happy to say, here we are. March, as promised, Volume 3. So, I'm not going to say that does not make me better than other comic creators, because you can look at the artwork and say like, oh, your art style is so much simpler than other people. You can criticize that. There's tons of things that you could criticize, and I would listen, and I would fully listen. The art style of it, it's just a different storytelling medium, man. Different artists have different means of telling their story, and mine is simple cartoony art. That's how I present my story. And yes, I'm always improving. I'm always trying to improve. I'm always trying to get better. And nowadays, like the past, you know, maybe 2-3 years ago, I was always trying to get better. Like always trying to get better at how I'm drawing the characters. Always trying to get better with, like, you know, anatomy, posing, backgrounds, and all that kind of stuff. Nowadays, I'm more so aiming for consistency. Like, I'm aiming to try and make things as consistent as possible. Is what I'm going for. I'm going for, I guess you could say I was going for increasing the quality. Now I'm trying to increase the quantity at the quality I can consistently obtain or better. Because, you know, some pages look better than others. I'm not going to disagree with that. Some pages look like they've been they have less effort. Like, you know, this page. This artwork has already been drawn, right? And then this, you know, there's not really too much to this, right? There's not too much going on here, technically speaking. But this page is still good. It's still a page that I think is funny, and I think it serves the purpose for it in this comic. I think it serves it very well. Comparing it to scenes like these, which are blurred for you, but they will not be. Eventually, they will be released. But you know, pages like this are like where I think the quality of my art peaks. Period. Of all artwork I've made, I think it peaks here. But who knows? Maybe by volume 4, I'll be like, this is way better than these 2 pages. I have a new peak, and I hope that's the case. You know, that's the goal, is like to keep peaking. Every comic, I want to keep peaking. But you know, I'm mainly shooting for consistency now. I'm shooting for trying to make things just look good on average. I could try and stress over every single detail of every single page and try and make it every single page a masterpiece in my eyes. But ultimately what I'm trying to do now is just trying to make everything look great. So with all that being said, that's basically all I've got to say. I've enjoyed my time here. I hope you guys have enjoyed the comic. I hope you enjoyed this little stream. And I'll talk more about the plot story elements, like I'll talk more about the spoilers of actually what happens, what goes down in the comic later on. I'm going to give that another week or two before I do that. Just because I don't want people joining this stream and getting spoiled on a major aspect of Volume 3 before they read it. So make sure you check it out. Get the link tree from the chat, or it's scrolling on screen right now. Get the link tree from there, and check out the comic, read it, give it a good review, and share it with your friends. That's all I've got for this video, or stream rather. So thanks so much for watching. Till next time, peace out.